But it was really good to have that experience first and then move into a more full-on kind of renovation.
Today, I'm going to bring you something different, the Bushfield renovation with Casey and Jesse. So often, we don't get to see where people's renovations start or where they finish. And they've been kind enough to let us in to have a chat and look around at their spectacular renovation. Let's check it out. Casey, Jesse, welcome. Very exciting to have a look around this stunning property situated on about 4 acres, you were saying? Yep. So I suppose the first thing I want to touch on is, tell us about the vision. Tell us about how it started, 3.5 years ago.
It probably started a long time before that. It started even before we had our second house, because we really wanted to be in Bushfield. We were really looking for a location. We started door knocking and everything to try and find somebody. We contacted you, put the feelers out everywhere, but we couldn't find anything that suited us. We really wanted a view of some sort, we knew, and we wanted enough space for a family.
When you saw it, did you know?
No.
No.
We crossed it off because I think it was the ceilings that stopped us because they were really quite low. And that's something that I've loved in our other places. We had quite high ceilings and I thought, well, that was like a no for us. But after looking around and knowing there was nothing else and thinking, oh, well, actually the position was the perfect position and all we needed to do was make the house what we wanted, then why wouldn't we go for it? And
I think it was probably 2 or 3 months after we actually found the property that we just went straight away like, no, not for us. And then a few months later, well, actually, let's have a second look.
So I think, like both your backgrounds, obviously, Case, you're very much entrepreneur, you've got a vision background, you've worked a lot in retail and fashion. Jess, you're obviously electrician by trade. So what's your planning stage look like? Do you map it all out on a bench? How's that sort of look?
Well, I just remember sitting in the front room of our old house. We had the kids, it would have been Harlow asleep. She was only like a newborn pretty much, I think. And we were drawing up plans. We'd plan out each and every room separately, what exact things we were going to do in those rooms. And
vision boards,
vision boards, Pinterest, like putting lots of boards together. And then I also, I'm quite creative. I love drawing, so I draw everything and make it visual, and so I can see what.
So is this very much like. Paper, pen and paper?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We do a bit on computer as well. I love Photoshop and everything, so I can chuck everything in. Like once we've got a photo, I'll make it white, or try different things. I can put plants in or whatever, and that really helps too. But first of all, it's pen and paper for us.
So when you're planning, you mentioned you're spending a lot of time there at night. You're obviously mucking around with how things look, how they're going to feel, how they're perceived. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and designing spaces, as I said, they were great in that process as well, because it was just a standing board, it was back and forth.
And they also have a fair bit of knowledge in regards to, they won't know exact costs, they'll more be like, we know this is going to roughly cost you about this, so that way you know whether or not something is feasible or not.
Because a lot of people always ask, they'll message on the Instagram and say, oh, how much did it cost to do this, and how much and I think to myself, depending on your house, your situation, your location, your beams, where your loads are, it's going to be different for everyone. So the best thing that they could do is probably just go to, someone like Designing Spaces, an architect, draftsperson,
So we ended up as an architect or draftsman, and in the end,
worked well for you.
Yeah, it worked really well for us not to go down the architect track. I think it was a lot quicker of a process.
Yeah. And we needed that because we needed to get in.
Internally, what have been some of the things that you're most proud of? What are the things that you really think make the house? Obviously, with the view spectacular, but with the house, what what really grabs you?
Probably this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, this room's by far one of the best parts of it.
For you, Casey, is it the same?
Yeah, I'd have to say, well, yeah, my deal breaker was definitely the roof being low. So with it up, like that obviously makes it a dream home for us. Without that, I think I don't know, I probably would have been one to, if you don't have that wow factor, I would probably be one to get antsy and probably move on. And if I don't have a project or whatever,
she gets itchy
I move on.
On to the next thing.
But
something to do, we'll be here for a while.
making it something we loved, I think, has made us want to stay. We just spent that little bit extra money and did something weird and like requested something that we probably thought may not happen, but it's probably made it a dream home.
So anything that struck you couldn't do to the property that you wanted to do?
What's frustrated me up to this point is the outside, because I feel, because we have about 4.5 acres nearly, it's a lot to manage. So it isn't quick. Like I have so many plans that I want to be done now. I'm one of those people that needs everything done, and it hasn't been. It's been 3 years since we bought it. So there's so much to do outside, and to kind of let that be and do it gradually, that's probably my biggest challenge.
Because the projects, from what I know, and I'm sure there's more, so we've got a grapevine over here.
A vineyard, yeah.
A vineyard.
Yep.
An orchard.
Yes.
We've got a chicken coop.
Yes.
Custom.
Yes.
A cubby.
Yep. And everyone says they think that it's better than their house.
And then
cubby.
you've also
It's
got
crazy.
an Airbnb.
But yes.
So there's so much going on.
In progress.
Yes.
That's the issue. We need to start finishing one thing before we start the next. We've got about 10 things on the go all at once.
Yeah, it
But
keeps it exciting.
it works
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
because then in your downtime when you're waiting for trades, if you've still got other things on the go, as long as you're kind of ticking them off in a circle, like at least you can move on. The weather's bad, you can go inside to do that project. Like I guess we always have something going on. Weekends are never a rest, to be honest.
But you've got to enjoy that.
We love it.
Exactly.
So, when you've got something so spacious and so, I suppose, grand that it's done like this, anyone that's wanting to pursue renovating, how would you, I suppose, provide advice and recommendation for someone that's wanting to really take their property to the next level? Where do they look? Where do they start? What sort of things would you encourage?
I'd say search for location, because obviously you can change everything else, and you can do it bit by bit if you need to, or as a full renovation.
Good bones to a property as well helps. Like our property, we were very lucky that all the rooms were really well sized, all the bedrooms were good size. So to start with that, it wasn't the look we wanted, but at least it was a good start.
Because what's this, your third, fourth property that you've lived in?
Third we've lived in.
So you've built twice and now done extensive renovation.
Yeah.
The first one we built when Jessie was an apprentice and I was in uni.
Yeah.
So
how do you find, obviously, when you built the other two, that's very different to renovating? This one, you're more experienced. Is there things that you sort of, I suppose, learned along?
I think building like that was good, because then we saw everything. Jessie obviously had a lot of experience because he was doing it every day.
Yeah, that's why I was working in every day.
But it was really good to have that experience first and then move into a more full-on kind of renovation.
We more knew what we wanted, what worked.
What to expect.
I suppose,
Yeah.
The other thing I finally want to touch on, you've obviously got an Instagram page that's got a great following. Was that always the case that you were going to sort of showcase that journey of everything you've done?
It wasn't. I did it for family, for friends, for people that were interested, and it kind of just built.
Yep.
Like I didn't even see it building, and then suddenly, there was quite a lot of people following, and I felt a bit of pressure because I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to keep them updated. Like,
especially once we finished inside.
More projects, more jobs.
Yeah, once we finished inside, we had a bit of a lull where we didn't do a lot, and she's like, I haven't posted in a while.
We need something else. Yes.
Busy at work.
Yeah.
It's been good, and it's so good to hear from people, and like they're encouraging you to keep going and egging you on, kind of. But like the main things I get asked, like what floor type do you have, or like how did you do the roof, or and there's all those little bits and pieces, and it's so nice to hear from people and for them to ask you questions, because you're like, oh, they must really like what we've done. And I guess we made it look achievable because, for example, the back of the house at the beginning looked like an old brown brick house.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's so much change, and people are like, oh my God, my house looks like that. Yes. I can make it look like
nothing special
this.
to start with. Like
yeah.
as you said, it was pretty basic.
Yeah, basic straightforward house. It was sort of no bells and whistles really. So
Yeah.
Finally, what are the projects that are left? Where to next? What can we see Jessie doing?
Well, we just mentioned that we have obviously investment property that we would love to renovate. It's 120 years old, 130 years old.
Yep, different
So we'd
again.
love to do that. Yeah. And we have the Airbnb on the go that we're going to start renting out eventually. We're just about to get cabinetry done and install that, so that's nearly ready. And we have just like a lot of landscaping. We're popping a pool in. Yep. We used to have one at our old place and loved it, so we're doing that too. And just getting some landscaping, retaining walls and everything popped in out the back, which will be so good. And that's it for now, but I'm sure I'll have more ideas.
There'll be more. So watch out, next sort of 12 months, 2 years.
Yeah.
This will be completely different. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been exciting. We're going to have a look around.